Welcome to Absolute Trust Talk with your host, Kirsten Howe. Absolute Trust Talk brings you tips, tools, advice, and interviews to help you build a reliable knowledge base on estate planning, business, and finance to start preparing for your future today.
Hello, and welcome to Absolute Trust Talk. This is our video podcast here at Absolute Trust Counsel. I'm Kirsten Howe, and I'm joined by one of our associate attorneys, Jessica Colbert. Today, we are continuing the conversation we had about selecting a successor trustee. Last time we focused on what are the qualities that you're looking for when you're selecting a successor trustee. And this time we're going to talk about if you're going to choose a child to be the trustee of your trust, what are the things to keep in mind when you're trying to choose a child as a trustee? This is probably the most common thing that our clients do. You know, obviously clients who have children, but most of our clients who have children will choose a child or children to be their successor trustees. They're kind of natural built-in people who have to do work for us when we get old. And there are thoughts about choosing just one child as opposed to choosing multiple children to work together as co-trustees. And there's really no right answer. There's no wrong answer. Every family is different, but we want to educate our clients and make sure they understand all the pluses and minuses of choosing a child or choosing multiple children. And we've already talked about the qualities that you're looking for. So we're going to assume that all of your children have all of these wonderful qualities, and that's not the issue. Okay. So let's talk, Jessica, what are some of the pluses and minuses about naming one child to be your successor trustee?
Yes, naming one child can be a plus simply because it can be more efficient. If it's just one person, there's that one person who has to deal with outside parties, financial institutions, whereas if you name more than one, those outside parties are going to require dealing with all of the named trustees. So just having one can make it quicker, easier, only one signature required. Things move quicker.
Right. Also, as the co-trustees have to make all the decisions, large and small, together, they have to agree on everything. And that sometimes happens, but we have to take into account the possibility that, you know, your two co-trustees are two different people and they may not agree on everything. So you could get in a situation where the trustees get to an impasse. There's something they have to decide and they see it differently.
You may also have a child who just seems to be better suited for the job, whether they have certain legal or financial experience that makes them a better fit. Or it can also be something like a child may have a much more demanding job and lifestyle already. So the one who maybe doesn't have so much of a demanding job and life already could be better suited for the time that is required for the job.
Right. And to just name them as co-trustees because they are siblings and you don't want anybody to feel left out. You know, think about that, all these things. Maybe if one child really isn't suited to be a trustee, they're going to drag the other one down a little bit if you name them as co-trustees. One thing that's interesting to me, a lot of times clients think and they'll say to us, well, our children get along very well. And to the clients, that leads to the next step, which may be logical or not, that, well, they'll always get along well. And we have seen plenty of cases where that isn't the case, where the kids seem to get along while the parents are alive, but things happen afterwards. So the negatives about even naming a child at all is that there can be resentments that the parents aren't aware about, things that are maybe carried over from childhood. And so maybe naming a child as a trustee or co-trustee isn't a great idea.
Yeah, and it can also, being a trustee can be a lot of work. And the child who's doing it is doing that hard work, and the other children may just not understand exactly all that's entailed and get impatient.
Right. And there's also the possibility that if you choose one child, the other children who are not chosen, they might take offense at that. They might feel resentful. And since you're already gone, the person who's going to bear the brunt of that resentment will be the trustee that you chose.
Yes. And another thing that could result in some resentment is a person serving as trustee is entitled to compensation for that service. And the other children may, resent the fact that one child is getting more money in their eyes.
Right. They're getting paid for the work they have to do, plus they get an inheritance. And sometimes siblings don't see that as fair, which, inherently it is fair, but people don't always see it that way. Okay, so contrary to choosing just one child to be the trustee, we not infrequently have clients wanting to choose multiple children, either, two children as co-trustees, or sometimes even let's make all of our 4 children be co-trustees. So, Jessica, what issues do you see with that?
When you have multiple trustees, all decisions regarding the trust administration have to be made together. And that could end up really tying up the administration because it can be very inefficient just in working together to make those decisions, and also as a group having to go out and execute every single step of the administration.
Right. And that can lead to an impasse if they can't agree. And the way an impasse among co-trustees is resolved, if they can't work it out, is somebody has to go to court. And now it becomes a real nightmare for the family because now everybody's got lawyers and the money is just getting eaten up. So that's a danger. It's a realistic danger with having multiple co-trustees. When it works, it can be great. We've had numerous families where the parents named 3 siblings as co-trustees and they did it beautifully. Everybody did their job. Everybody was, open and honest with each other, and it can work. It's just very hard to predict when it's going to work and when it's not going to work. So take that seriously. Think about that real hard before you name multiple siblings as co-trustees. We are going to continue this conversation and talk about other alternatives besides children as successor trustees in our next episode. I hope you got a lot out of this one, and we look forward to connecting with you next time.
Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Absolute Trust Talk Live. If you enjoyed listening in, then don't forget to subscribe. You can find us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you may listen by searching Absolute Trust Talk. While you're there, we would also love for you to leave us a review. And then why not share your favorite episodes with family, friends, or colleagues too? You can find all of our shows and corresponding show notes by visiting absolutetrustcouncil.com. You'll also find a variety of other free resources, including our ebooks, videos, blogs, presentations, and more. If you need help with your estate planning or administration, we also offer a free discovery call to help get the process started. You can find more information on booking your session by visiting absolutetrustcouncil.com/scheduling. If you join us for the broadcast, you can submit questions during the show. But if not, don't worry. You can always get in touch with us by sending a quick message to info@absolutetrustcouncil.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you soon.
This podcast is not meant to take the place of legal advice from an attorney and does not create an attorney-client relationship. If you do have a legal question or issue, please consult with an attorney.